Alright, so today what I want to do is do a multi-part series on how to fully disassemble, super tune, clean, and reassemble a Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier. This is the PQX10HD model. Focus. Yeah. This reel hasn't been used much. It's pretty much a brand new reel, but it is not as free as I'd like it to be. The free spool isn't great on it. It's only about 10 seconds, where I'd like it to get it up closer to a minute. So what I'm gonna work on doing here is fully stripping this reel apart, taking the bearings apart, cleaning those, super tuning those, also super tuning some of the other parts to get better drag and a longer free spool, which in turn is going to help the overall performance of the reel. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm going to start by doing is taking a Phillips head screwdriver and removing the side plate. Once I've got that removed, set that and a screw over next to each other. So once you have that removed, you're going to see a nut. This is usually a 10mm nut. I don't have the wrench on me that would be used, so I'm just going to gently use some pliers to loosen it up. Next I'm going to take the handle nut off, place that over with all my other parts. Then the handle should slide off. It's going to be placed over there. So next, after the handles come off, you're going to have a small washer, which will come off. And now you're down to your drag. Just unscrew this. Should come right off of there. Set that over with the rest of your parts. So this is what you want to pay attention to. This is your clicker and drag washer settings right here. So you want to make sure that you take those off and put those on the exact same way. There's two washers in there. They're sitting, they have a little concave in them. They're sitting concave to concave. And that this disc right here is sitting with the washers facing up. So you just want to remember which direction these go. So now that we've taken the entire handle and drag assembly off, we can go ahead and work on the left side. So with the Pro Qualifier, just pull the pin, slide the plate, and then just remove the side plate. Next you're going to take your spool and remove your spool. Now be careful not to drop or damage the spool at all, because if the spool shaft gets warped or bent at all, it'll completely mess up the performance of the reel. So now we're down to the frame of the reel with all the gears and everything still inside. So what we're going to do now is we're going to I'm going to remove the right side of the reel. This usually consists of a few, in this case 3 Phillips head screwdrivers. So you may want to make sure that you remember where these screws go, so I like to just stick them in the cardboard so I don't lose them. Okay, so once you've removed all three of your screws, the right side cover should come straight off. Just going to be careful that you don't yank it off so as to not mess any of the gears up. I actually forgot one of the screws. There's 4. This is the oil port, so if you didn't feel like taking the whole reel apart, you could simply remove this, and that brings you right to the gear, and you can just put some oil in there. But today what we need to do is we need to clean this whole reel, so we need to take the entire side cover off. So once again, just put that screw with the side cover. So now, place the reel down and gently lift up on the side cover. And you should end up with something like that. So what you're going to have in this side is, what you should have in this side is your roller clutch bearing, a small washer on the bottom of your clutch bearing here. One way bearing there. One of the spool bearings on this side, and your release bar for the other side of the spool. So you're going to want to go ahead and set that aside right there. So now what we've got our reel completely disassembled. As you can see, all of the grease has dried. Dried up on the reel. There we go. So this grease is no longer good, so we need to strip all of the grease off, re-grease all the parts, re-oil all the bearings and everything, and get this back into full working condition. So that's where I'm going to end this video right here, is taking this completely apart. The next part of this video will be removing the drag, removing the main gear, the spindle gear, and all the other parts, cleaning them, and then from there on we'll start with the polishing and super tuning of all the parts.